have to be their study or school or others. But extracurricular activities, for me, I see like some kids, they perform actually hundreds of times in a month, in a year. So it's a huge pressure for them. So we need to be very specific what we should do, how many programs we should do, and how many kids should be involved, and how we can connect more people. That's the most important thing, because we like to see not one kids is performing every time. No, it's like we need to gather all people, like all community people. That would be the great thing, because as I know, like it's around 4 to 5 thousand peoples in this small city, but I don't know like how many people come in every programs. It's because probably, and we have some small group association. Probably people are more focusing on that. That's my opinion. I don't know others people's opinion, but thing is, probably we have to focus on that things as well. Like say to connect people, to do big programs, to involve more kids or childrens. We have to be more communicative with them.
Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned that that point that community is divided by too many organizations. So what I can hear, you are indicating to local community politics. So usually we do not talk about it. I mean, we are afraid of talking about local community politics. Um, do you mind to elaborate more on this? I can see Gautam Da's hand. Can we start to talk about this point?
Actually, I would like to see that people, whenever they're coming from Bangladesh or other countries, they have some pre-mind setup. Culturally, economically, they have something, they just bring it from their own country and they don't want to, and using those predetermined mind setup, they're making their own world. And they don't actually want to come out from their own world.
What does it mean they don't want to come
Like
out?
they have some beliefs depending on the socially, religiously, culturally, they have their own belief, they have their own things. So they don't want, sometimes they don't want to come out
Why?
from their own world.
Shill. They don't.
Like
Yeah.
they,
Why? What do you
like
think?
say for example, culturally, they don't want to, sometimes they don't want to get the new culture. They think that ours is the best. Same thing for the religiously or other perspective. You know that very well. So
What do you mean by other perspective? Can
like
you?
socially, culturally, then
Okay.
sometimes they are preferring economics perspective more than the cultural. So they just engage with work. So these are the things I think that people are facing, and they have their own world and they don't want to come out from their own world. This is one thing. And another thing is like Rajiv Poddar already mentioned that there are so many groups, and have faced some awkward things like the those group leaders, they are not involving with the cultural activities, but they try to impose their own thoughts and ideas on the people who are doing the cultural activities, and they just want to show that yeah, I am the leader, by showing the adverse or harsh attitude for the silly purpose. They don't think that these cultural activities, the people are uh, doing those cultural activities, they are giving their priceless times, hours after hours, but only because a very silly thing, those community leaders just yelling on them. So it seems to me that uh, this is the politics between the power and just to non-power people. So that's how I have seen that couple of cultural people who are doing the cultural activities, they just keep them in a shell. They don't want to come out from their shell. Those are the things I think the challenges are.
Interesting. What I have heard from your um, discussion, I marked out 2 points. One point is that the volunteers are not recognized, right? Those who are engaged with those
Volunteers are
cultural
not recognized
activities.
and they are humiliating for very silly reasons.
Wonderful. Yes, I think that's very
And
important point.
it seems to me that people who are showing their arrogancy to the volunteers or to the performers just to show their power, that I'm powerful than you. They just want to send that message.
Interesting. Now let's. I have a question. I don't want to discuss about this. I don't think we have much time in our hand. So as you said that so many organizations are coming out these days. So actually, what are their benefit? I mean, how they are benefiting out of those organizations, and why they are refusing, though you mentioned religious reason and power gaining reason, but apart from that, is there any more reasons that or is there any more mechanism is happening underneath that we are not aware of, that which we need to draw our attention of our listeners and the community?
I would like to add just only one sentence. People from different cultures, they sometimes believe that we are the best. We should get out of that barrier. We should not say our culture is the best. Whenever we're gonna proclaim that I am the best or our culture is the best, problem will start from there. So we have to cope up. We have to inter-exchange the culture, not to prove that I am the best or our culture is the best.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Rajiv?
My one sentence is like, we should not take anything personally, we should take professionally. Say in a big community, any association, any organization, say for example in our community the largest organization should be Bangladesh Association, Bangladeshi Community Association of Saskatchewan. So now this should be the number one organization and everybody has to come under this umbrella. Then if there any other organization, that's also good. Say for example there we have some different community organizations like in regional community associations, say from Bangladesh. So I appreciate them also because they're really good. They like to gather their people, they like to share their ideas, they like to be with them. But I think all the peoples, when question from Bangladeshi Community Association, all these organizations should come under this umbrella first, and we have to look for the bigger community, not the smaller community, and we have to fix, as I said, certain number of programs. And we don't like to see our kids are busy whole the year and number of programs and number of activities, too much pressure on them. And for example, the biggest challenge, say from my last 2 years I have faced, if I ask when I asked someone to perform, they say, oh no, we have another program, we are performing in another issues, we are performing in another events, we don't have time. So this is thing happening several times. This thing happened for me several times. We didn't get enough perform to perform in different multicultural activities like Folk Fest. It's a huge event. So then these are the challenges. I think everybody should come forward first to their bigger community association. Then whatever they do, like a small community association or something, say a regional community association, I don't think that's a bad idea. I always appreciate, but we should have to have our mind on this bigger community, like in favor of bigger community.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Rajiv. Thank you, Gautamda, and thanks to our children, Devi, Deepa, Purnota, Prarthana, Prakriti. As we know that Rajiv, throughout the year, you try to teach so many songs to our kids. So before we go home today, and also what I would like to say, we will continue this discussion. It is just a start. So I will keep inviting everyone. So, and the same children and also more children and more parents. I think it is important to discuss this issue. So we will keep continue, dear listeners. Stay tuned, and we will talk about a new issue or the same issue in future program, of course. So before we go home, we would like to keep our soul dancing, keep our heart lighter and happy, right? And how it's possible? Only by singing, dancing. But we cannot dance now, so we just would like to sing together.
Okay, let's start one song. We know, I think, more or less a little bit. So, the Bangla song we are learning, right? Amake shonai gora shorgo dilo chai na ami. So let's sing first paragraph of this song. Okay, we're going to start from ah ha ha ah ah oh ah ha ha
শোনাই গড়া স্বর্গ দিলেও চাই না আমি আমাকে শোনাই গড়া স্বর্গ দিলেও চাই না আমি
আমি চাই মাটির গড়া পাতার কুটির আমি চাই মাটির গড়া পাতার কুটির আমার জন্মভূমি রে আহা